Boom. Yeah. So I went running at 5 a.m. this morning in the cold. And in order to warm myself up, I wore a 20-pound vest. Yeah. So I did 2.5 miles this morning with a 20-pound vest on. It was awesome because Rachel and I are preparing for some epic mountain climbing in Mexico and in Ecuador and all this awesomeness. Hi, Janet and Laura and Joseph and Justine and Sam. Good evening.
Even though it says Brian.
Yeah, I knew who it was. And the baby's there. You gotta show the baby when you can. Oh, that baby's so cute. Oh, chubby babies, man. Tell you what, I could just have babies for the whole rest of my life. I hope my kids feel.
You could have the babies.
Yeah, if I could have the babies, we'd keep having babies. But since it's up to Rachel, I guess we're gonna be done. Oh, you guys, this is so good. So good to have everybody out. Oh, I love it. Hi, Emily. Long time no see. This is fantastic, man. Okay, let us dive in. How you feeling, by the way? Just like, how you feeling? Good? Everybody feeling all right? Anybody?
I feel glorious.
Glorious. Like you
I
do
could
it?
play that song.
Okay, let's do this. What should we have everybody share? I love connecting with you. I love hearing from you. Let's all share just one thing you're working on. Everybody throw it in the chat box or just turn on your microphone.
Excited about.
Everybody just share one thing you're excited about or working on. Maybe it's the same, maybe it's not. Maybe you're working on something, but excited about something else. Go ahead and share it in there. You can jump on mic too, throw it in there, whatever. Yeah, getting new and better clients. Emily, man, we have missed you. We have missed you. Welcome back.
Her little boy is a year now.
No way.
Mm-hmm.
Holy guacamole. Kids grow up fast, man. Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, new and better clients. Business planning for 2021. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I was talking to Israel this morning about business plans for 2021. This is going to be a big year for us, isn't it, my friends? Oh, yeah, it's going to be big for Rachel and I, and for a lot of us. We're going to do some big stuff. I hope you have some gigantic, dumb goals.
To make up for 2020.
Yeah. A lot of us do make up for 2020. Got to get back on the game because 2020 was a little bit lame for some of us. But nice. Right, it was nice, right? It was nice. Good. There was a lot of lessons learned, right?
It's a good time.
A lot of lessons learned. Some of us like started new businesses. Some of us cleaned out our houses, right? We did the cleaning. Oh, that was amazing. We've been doing that. Some of us lost a lot of weight, got in shape. One of us conquered cancer. Bring that crap on, right? Yeah. Oh, that was good. Okay, working on writing goals. Started my scene list. Nice. For editing today. Nice.
Very cool.
Strong mindset. First chemo today. Oh, man. Somebody has got to invent this thing where like we can reach through Zoom and just give you a huge hug. Like, and just be like, oh, love you. You got this, girl. You got this. Feeling positive, doing all I can to support my body and mind. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Have a goal to interview 100 people in the Houston area to plan some fun micro adventures.
Wow.
Well, awesome. That's ambitious.
Probably for acting, right?
Yep, as well as fun family. So acting stuff for mentoring. Awesome. Refinance is finalized. We are now funded to remodel our kitchen, living room, and basement. Nice. Oh, congrats, you guys. So that's cool. That's a fun project. Mostly work on our own. Yeah, yep. Chanel, we're sending, like Heather's saying, we're sending prayers and positive thoughts that, like, we're with you. That's awesome. Trying to stay on top of things with summer school vacation on, trying to plan trips and adventures. That's right, Yale. When I read your posts and you're like, school's out in a couple of days, I'm like, oh, they're out for Christmas. You guys are out for summer. That's awesome. Oh, man, we need to get down to the South. All right. Are you ready? Oh, there she is. Hey, baby. Hey, baby. Look at those cheeks. Oh, my goodness. Look at that. Oh, she sees us. Hi. Hi, cute baby. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Oh, so cute. Look at that hair.
Cute. I know. She has so much hair. Yeah, I love
awesome.
it. Oh, so adorable. Can't we just have a couple more, babe? Please. Okay. So I want to do some coaching. So I want to leave it up for some questions. So anything is free game. We'll do some coaching, a lot of coaching time. So if you have questions, we'll dive in. A couple other thoughts that have been on my mind. As you go in to the holidays, I want to invite you to try to be more deliberate and intentional. Anybody ever get into just the going through the motions of the same old, same old? Anybody have some old patterns with family? And you're like, oh, and you slip back into the default mode, right? You slide into the old ruts. Anybody? Okay, this one's gonna touch home a little bit here. Anybody kind of revert to some childlike behaviors when you go back with your parents? I know you're 30 or 40 or 50, but there's sometimes where it's like, oh man, we get into these old patterns. So I was just having this thought, and it makes a difference. What can you do to be a little more deliberate in the next couple of weeks? What can you do to be a little more thoughtful, a little more intentional, so that this experience is like, it's special, it's memorable. It's not the same old, same old, same old. That you can actually make it count.
And I think, because I know you've talked to some people about it, I know we've experienced it in the past. Sometimes, especially through the holidays, we can get in this mode of, well, I'll just wait till the beginning of the year to get back on things, right? And we end up losing ground. And it's often more helpful to maintain some momentum, at least, to not like throw in the towel for everything, but to maintain some momentum. Because if we can, I love my 2-minute rule. Okay, it's not mine, it came from Atomic Habits, but I seriously love it, because even today, he got up early, he exercised. I got up early. I got up at like 5:30, but I did all my other stuff, and then our daughters woke up, and anyways, long story short, I didn't get my workout in this morning. And then at like 6 o'clock, I'm thinking, oh, I'm gonna go work out and go to bed. And Greg's like, are you gonna work out before coaching? I'm like, oh, I forgot. So I was like tempted. I was tempted to not work out. And then I thought, you know what? Okay, my 2-minute rule. I can work out for 2 minutes. So I went to work out. Well, it ended up being like 30 minutes instead. And you know what? That's a win, because instead of losing ground, right? Even if I did it for 2 minutes, even if I did it for 5 minutes, even if I did it for 10 minutes, instead of losing ground, I'm keeping momentum, right? There really is a lot of power in that. You've made this commitment to yourself to do these things. And if you can just make yourself do it, even if you're telling yourself, oh, it's only for 2 minutes, you keep momentum going, right? And that's for everything. That's for working out. That's for reading. That's for getting up in the morning. That's for, all these things. And it doesn't have to be like perfect and rigid. That's part of the fun of the holidays, is that it's a little more relaxed and it's a little more fun, and you eat a little more. Like, all of that's great. I'm not saying it's not okay, but to be intentional about it and not do it so much that you've lost ground, if that makes sense. And I know for me with eating, that's like I like to eat and I like to eat good foods. But when I just make myself pay attention on how full I am, how much I've already eaten. So I'm not unconsciously eating, right? I'm just paying attention to it and knowing that I'm going to pay for it later, right? Whether, well, in like,
No,
for
this is
me,
funny.
when I eat too much, I just get really like bloated and I just feel horrible. And that's not part of, I tell myself, that's not how I want to enjoy my holidays, is like being, bloated and miserable. So I pay attention to those things and I'm just aware of it. That was it.
Beautiful. Yeah, just pay attention. How many of you fall off the wagon during the holidays? Just straight fall right off that wagon. And you're like, oh, Christmas, you fall off and you're like, well, New Year's is coming. So you spend that whole week and then your New Year's resolution is try to get your life back together. Right? You're like, come back, routines, come back. Oh, wait, all this, whatever happens to you and things get crazy. But I just think you can still have fun, still have a blast, still make amazing memories, do incredible things, but keep up some momentum, keep some semblance of some organization and structure and schedules, be intentional and deliberate, and it'll actually build some momentum into the beginning of the year. Who's with us? Somebody, please raise your hand. Come on, somebody get in here. Let's do this, right? So let's share just a couple ideas. Let's share a couple ideas. What's something you do to be a little more intentional or deliberate going in the next couple weeks? Just a little thoughtfulness here. It just works to start brainstorming. Say, what can I do personally to be a little more intentional, a little more engaged? It's so easy to be transactional with things like this. I mean, you just go through the motions of it. Prepare the meals, set out the meals, clean up after the meals, decorate, undecorate. Work on my self-trust. Ooh, I like it. I did not see that one coming. That was good. That's good. Pretty much every reward I promise myself, I don't follow through on. There's always more important things or people to take care of. Oh my goodness. You just hit on something so important. I had a really powerful coaching session today with this awesome woman that I coach. And that's one of those things that, especially moms, you got to take care of yourself.
And ironically, especially during the holidays, because there is like so much to do that we neglect self-care if we had it before. And then and we've talked about this and we know that this happens. And I think especially it happens for women. I think it might happen for men too, but things just start to build. They stack, right? We've talked about stacking and it's, all the presents and it's this and that and the decorations and the meals and all these irritations and stresses and worries build and build and build until it's an explosion or an implosion. Neither one is great, right? So we have to be very careful about self-care and self-trust, rewarding yourself. That's a type of self-care. And okay, I'm going to do this thing and then I'm going to relax, take a break and, reward myself in some way, care for myself. That helps you process all of the things you're experiencing, recovering from the stress. Remember, we've talked about, where's your Power of Full Engagement? Did you pack it?
Yeah.
We're packing. Power of Full Engagement is a really great book. And they talk about the way to become more capable is by increasing your amount of stress. So increasing your stress, increasing the things that you have to do, that's not a bad thing. That's actually a good thing. And in fact, that's how you grow. The only way you can achieve more, do more, live the life of your dreams is by learning how to do more things. You learn how to do more by doing more, right? So you have to learn how to do more things. And now, I mean, I've got the mindset now where every time I've got like a lot of things to do, I'm like, sweet. Well, okay, maybe it's not like that. I'm like, oh, yeah, sweet. Opportunity to grow, right? But I know it is. It's an opportunity to grow and become more capable. But the key is to not burning out is to recover. So you stress, just like you're working out your muscles. You stress the muscles by using them to their limits, and then you recover. So you have to have recover activities that actually renew you. And you have to figure out what those are for
I'm
you.
going to throw in a little hint here, a little helpful hint. This kind of business
That's
is
not the best
recovery. That is not recovery.
No. In
Oh,
fact,
man.
I think it's actually, isn't there scientific
tons
evidence
of
on that
studies.
that actually adds more stress? It's
Yep.
actually
You
a really
feel
bad.
worse afterwards.
They even say TV, although I would say a movie sometimes is a nice recovery.
Only if it's a good movie.
Only if it's good.
You guys can send us a message. We'll tell you if it's a good movie or not.
No, I don't want that job. Anyways.
Okay, more
stress
stuff.
and recovery.
Here we go. Cultivate gratitude. Yes.
Gratitude.
Oh man, just going to this season. You guys know my story. It was let's see. So I'm 42. So that was, help me with the math. 26 years ago. 26 years ago this Christmas Eve, I was 16 years old. Hi, Brian. Yeah, buddy. Doesn't he know how to hold a baby? That was awesome. Hi, Goldie. Oh, nice. Oh, nice.
Classic
yeah,
baby.
Classic baby disaster bomb. Oh, man, that's great. 26 years ago, this Christmas Eve, I was living on my own as a 16-year-old and was sitting in a shack of a house in a bad part of town in this teeny little room. It was maybe 8 feet by 4 feet. We didn't have adequate heat so I could see my breath. And I just sat there by myself on Christmas Eve. It sucked. So, man, we roll around to these Christmas seasons and I'm like, man, I have a family. I have an amazing wife. I have lots of kids. That's why we have lots of kids, so I'll never be alone again. We got kids. We got health. We got life. We have opportunities. We have food. We have food. You guys, think about if you didn't have food. Even though I'm doing more fasting.
It's intermittent.
I'm really grateful for food. The more I fast, the more grateful I am for food. So my eating window today was from 11:30 to 4:30. It's good. That's a good window. That's a good window. You see what I'm saying? So I just get filled with gratitude. So if you ever start feeling stressed or irritated, man, count those blessings. Count those blessings. Okay, let's keep going. You want to read? You want me to read?
Yeah.
I've been contemplating deleting the FB app. Yeah. But it's been done before and I don't know if it's so effective. Maybe make a more solid media detox. I love it. What a great time to do a detox. I think it's a fantastic idea for families. If you've been having a problem with some kind of food or some kind of screen addiction or something, just consider doing a detox. What a great way to end the year kind of intentionally, thoughtfully. Just detox some stuff. Put my phone down more. Really pay attention to what's going on around me. Yes. Excellent. Start the day with time for me and set an intention for each day. Oh, man. We got to get in the right headspace. You remember when a year ago we started, we were in this, actually it was 2 years ago we started this. Remember the invitation was, when we were doing the 28-day challenges, the invitation was to choose your emotion each day. So that's an invitation I'd like to give all of you. Like through the next couple of weeks, every day just pick a specific emotion you want to have for that day. And it can adjust, it can change.
Or it could just be gratitude.
Or it can be gratitude every day. You may just wake up like, just boom, what am I grateful for? Or you might say, man, we got tons of family coming over. I got all this stuff to do. I'm going to be patient. I'm going to be calm. I'm going to be determined. I'm going to be joyful. I'm going to be peaceful. Choose an emotion for the day. Watch how that affects and have an intention. That's beautiful. Thanks, Another one, pay closer attention to the negative talk that is happening in my head. Being intentional about thinking positively and speaking positively and becoming emotionally mature. Oh, that is a great comment right there. We love to talk about, if you haven't read The Untethered Soul yet, you guys add that to your list of great books. In there, he compares the negative voice in our heads to having like a crazy roommate that just says ridiculous stuff. And you're like, what? That's the crazy roommate talking again. Shut up, crazy roommate. Right? And just, I'm not listening to you. Stop with your stupid ideas, right? But you got to notice the crazy roommate and notice when it's negative. And be really intentional about speaking positively. Gal, sometimes I love you guys so much. I feel like giving you challenges, like see if you can go 24 hours without a single negative comment coming out of your mouth. I didn't get any smile, like one smile on that one. Everyone's like, not a good challenge. Not a good idea.
I'm not so sure about that.
Try it. Ooh.
Well, it's very fascinating. So many things. I'm reading a book right now called Prosperity. I don't even know who's that is, but Charles Fillmore. It's an old one, but it's good. But in there, he talks about, it's a book about abundance and, money. And he talks about this idea that all of your thoughts, you should channel all of your thoughts towards being positive, and you should definitely channel everything you say towards being positive. Now, a lot of us have a problem with that, and I know I've had a problem with that, because you think, well, that's just unrealistic. Like, how can you do that? There's real problems in the world, right? There's real challenges. There's real obstacles. And yes, that's true. But the whole idea, we also listened to this other book called The Magic of Believing.
So good.
Really good. Also kind of old.
Yep.
But it's this whole idea that when you believe things, that is what your brain and the universe goes to work on trying to figure out. And Wayne Dyer put it once, he put it this way one time. He said, and I don't know if these statistics are actually correct, but for the argument's sake, you have a 50-50 chance of best case scenario, worst case scenario, right? So why not choose to believe in the best case scenario instead of assuming the worst case scenario? So that's kind of how I think of that. Like, when you want to think positively, speak positively, like, I'm going to choose to believe in the best possible outcome.
Yeah.
And by doing that, even if the best possible outcome doesn't happen, you're more likely to have better outcomes by believing in those possibilities. So we go into, like, everything we go into, we're aware of potential risks. We really are. We look at those, we analyze those, but we believe that we're going to have great outcomes. So we move forward with that intention.
We'll take our family, walk into a full-on crap storm, and be like, this is going to be epic. We're going to remember this forever. And the kids now, our teens, have learned this mindset from us, and they're like, bring it.
Yeah.
Like horrible things. Yeah, let's go.
Let's do it.
Let's do this. It'll make a great story. I mean, they're totally bought into it now. It's awesome. And why not?
Bought into our brainwash.
Yes. We've brainwashed them, and it's worked masterfully. But they're on it, and it's so cool to hear them say, let's go. Let's go.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, I love this stuff. You guys, I just love this stuff. I love you. I love this stuff. I love life. Okay, another comment. Just had this conversation with my 15-year-old yesterday. Was listening to the DD podcast constantly. Isn't giving his brain a break from the stress of schoolwork. And he needs to do something with his body. Yes, you got to move. Move your body to move your brain. Experience life, not listening to others experience again.
No, that's a good insight too.
Great insight.
Because I think that's a good contrast. Sometimes, say we do a lot of stuff with our body, then we need to rest by maybe doing something with our brain. So listening to a podcast would be great. But if you're doing schoolwork and then you're resting, it's not really a rest because your brain needs a rest. So moving your body is perfect. Contrasting activities is great. I love to work on my computer and then go up and like load the dishwasher or sweep or something active, more active.
Yep. Got to move that body. Good
I like
insight. So Nancy's reading
reading a book we mentioned now.
What's the one about the crazy roommate one?
Oh,
that one.
Untitled Soul.
And she just finished The Hiding Place.
Yeah,
so amazing. Great. Thank you for suggesting these books. Okay, Hiding Place, perfect example. How many people in here have read The Hiding Place? Okay, Christian family, they get thrown in a concentration camp, and Betsy Tenboom, she's in a concentration camp, and she keeps saying things like, "Oh, those poor people." And her sister Corey's like, "Oh, she must be talking about the prisoners." And Betsy was referring to the guards. She felt bad for the guards. Right? She had compassion on them. Then when all the women got fleas, so horribly got fleas, she was thankful. She was thanking God and thanking everyone for the fleas because it kept the guards away from them. And they were able to smuggle in a Bible and read from the Bible every night to their group of ladies. And she was genuinely grateful for the fleas. Talk about perspective. Yeah. Oh, man, that woman. She is amazing. Rock star. Okay. My husband and I went on
Miss Yale. She said, can you be my dad?
We will totally adopt you and all of your kids. Except none of us can get into or out of Australia right now. Yes. Okay, my husband and I went on a news fast.
Oh, yeah.
We went camping for a week. I checked the news when I got back. We really didn't miss anything. Amen to that. So I decided to do another week. I checked the news once week ended. I told my husband, we aren't missing anything. Yes, so true. So Rachel and I decided to go on a news fast. When was it? It was actually before we met. And
it's been about 21 years.
Been 21 years, a news fast, and it has just been amazing.
It's changed our life.
Changed the world.
Literally.
Changed
our life.
We just go, life is happy and wonderful, and you should try it. This is one of those things you gotta try that stuff. Okay. All right, here we go. So I want to do some coaching. Let's open it up for coaching. If you have a question, if anything you want, like, hey, what about this? What about anything's open? Anything's open. We'll do some fun coaching. And while we're
the
Champions poem. Yeah, it's so good.
Champions poem.
Can you please tell me who wrote it? I had a hard time finding the right one. I will look for it right this moment.
But someone needs to.
So you got to come up with, get ready to get coached. And it's just fun. This is not the hot seat. It's called the Throne of Awesomeness.
Oh, right. That's the Throne of Awesome.
All right, let's see. No, it is not the Pokemon's champion poem. Champion poem. Come on.
You should just search some of the words. That would be easier.
Booyah.
Oh,
I will
author
share.
Unknown. That's why.
Oh, well, just unknown on this scrapbook.com. I'm sure it's known by someone.
I think you copied the whole website.
Oh, I copied the entire website. I was about to share that in the link. And
yeah, it does say author unknown.
Voila. I will still share it here, and it's worth sharing right now. Here we go. The average runner runs until the breath in him is gone. But the champion has the iron will that makes him carry on. For rest, the average runner begs. When limp his muscles grow. But the champion runs on leaden legs. His courage makes him go. The average man's complacent when he's done his best to score. But the champion does his best and then does a little more. I think that poem was written about women. These guys are like, we gotta take a lesson from the ladies. to keep on keeping on. That's it right there. Well, one of them. Pretty good, huh? Pretty good stuff. Okay, who's ready? I mean, I got more. I could keep going all night. I got more stuff to talk about, but somebody wants some coaching here. Rachel's been waiting her entire life for this moment.
That's right.
Mickey?
So we have been working on, getting up early, having a morning routine down. Israel and I working out, doing a lot of good things, and it's been incredible and all. As we're going through I like to say like the craziness of the holidays, although because of COVID or thanks to COVID, we don't have, people coming, visitors and all. So things have tuned down more. But I find myself so busy that I usually like to have all those family traditions of more service during this time. And I find myself juggling between, what I need to do as a homeschooler, as a mom, as a spouse, as a business owner, and all of that, that I kind of feel stress coming to me, and I'm having a hard time not feeling tired and completely like done. Like at this time, I am actually very tired now, but I feel like, I've done like I given my all during the whole day. And I just want to still be, going to bed and still feeling like I'm not, I'm not dead. Like I still have some energy, but I just feel like ultra tired at the end of our days. And it's been like this for a couple of weeks because we're wrapping up the years for our real estate business and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
Awesome.
Rachel, you were saying how when we have a lot of demands, right, it forces us to grow. And I understand the concept of it, but I feel like putting it into practice, like although I've grown and I still have room to grow, right? We're always expanding and always growing. But how do you keep your energy, or how do you not empty yourself and feel so tired after giving so much, or like trying to be on top of the things all the time?
Yes, great question.
Great question.
And very relevant. And I can totally relate to that, and I have answers for it. Because right now, I think right now is a good time because we are preparing to go on a trip. We're getting our house ready to rent on Airbnb. I'm getting Christmas ready. And then we're planning to pack up Christmas the day of Christmas. Christmas morning, we're waking up and packing away all the Christmas decorations so we can go on a trip the next day. So I've got tons of stuff going. But the way that I maintain energy throughout the day, because, I've been up since 5 and 5:30 and it's 8 o'clock here. And so it's kind of like what we were talking about before, the idea of stress and recovery, but you have to be intentional about doing it throughout the day. And that's even in just small ways. So I'll notice myself if I start feeling, I start paying attention. If I have a headache, if I'm feeling sick to my stomach, if I'm feeling hungry, if I'm feeling off in any way, I pay attention to that. And then I do kind of like this idea of doing these little mini rewards or mini rests or recoveries. And I'll just stand up and I'll move my body and I'll go get some water and I'll pause and I'll do gratitude in the fact that I'll just be in the moment and I'll look around and I'll see my kids playing and I'll look at the Christmas tree and I just take a minute to just appreciate it. Like, this is why I'm doing it. I'm doing it for my kids. I'm doing it to enjoy the holiday. I'm doing it for, all of these reasons. And so I pause throughout the day to remember that. And it's amazing how when you do that, even if it's a couple minutes throughout the day, whenever you start to feel it, you have to pay attention to your body and your mind. And you can notice it starting to build, starting to grow, because the tiredness doesn't come all at once. It grows, right? It accumulates. So if you can pay attention to that and do something about it sooner than later, then at the end of the day, you may be tired still, and that's great. But it's not the same weight of stress and tiredness as if it just builds all day long. So you just have to learn how to notice and say, okay, wow, I'm feeling kind of stressed right now. I'm feeling kind of worried or whatever.
My thinking's getting foggy. I'm feeling kind of irritable. Like, notice your individual symptoms for fatigue.
And something else I've started doing, because when I read this book called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, he talks about how you literally think differently depending on the state your body is in. So I've now started to pay attention that when my body is in a tired, overwhelmed, stressed state, I start to question my thoughts. I'm like, wait a second. No. I don't believe that, because I'm not in a good state right now. So my thinking's not clear. So then I'll like stop thinking. I'm like, nope, I'm going to go do something to change my state, my body.
Anybody ever done that? You think things or say things that you're like, man, I wish I wouldn't have said that. That was like my tired brain talking.
Or that's when my doubting brain starts to come in, like, oh, I can't do this. It's too much. There's no way. It's just not possible. That's when my doubting brain gets loud, is when I'm tired and overwhelmed. And so I'm like, nope, I'm going to stop. I'll put on some music. I will dance. I will, go outside. Anything that's going to help change my state. And then I feel better about, thinking, because I know I'm thinking more clearly, and I am recovering from the stresses throughout the day instead of letting it build all day long until the end of the day. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. It made total sense. Thank you.
I was chuckling a little bit because I can tell when Rachel's been really tired and not caught herself. She'll call me into her office and be like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Can we do this? I don't know. What? Yeah. I'm like, babe, you need some rest. Your doubtful brain is coming out.
It's totally true.
It's true. Okay, I want to add a little bit here. So this is one of the things I do with my coaching clients. We talk about energy generation. Every one of you is an energy generator. Now, the cool thing about generators is they don't have energy in them. You can't like cut them open, take them apart, undo the screws, and like find energy. They don't have energy in them. They generate it. And you are an energy generator. But most of us don't think about ourselves that way. We don't think, I can generate energy. I can create energy. I can make more energy. If I'm feeling low, I'll just make some more. We don't think like that. We often think in a have or have not framework. Either I have it or I don't. And if we don't, we're like, oh, poor me, I don't have it. But there's what Rachel, the whole framework Rachel's teaching you is we can generate energy throughout the day. Now,
part of it is doing what I discussed of, first of all, recovering from the stress that you're feeling. That's kind of the first step, I would say.
Yep. And then there are 5 sources of energy generation. The first one is physical. Now, golly, gee willikers, I wish we were together in person.
Because we'd have you all stand up and start moving around.
We'd be dancing. And I'm like, you think you're tired right now? Do this. Let's go.
Yes.
Dance. And we'd have everybody down. We turn music on. We'd all be dancing and high-fiving and hugging. And Mickey, right now, instead of being tired, you'd be like, after 30 seconds, you'd be like, oh, give me a project. I got to get some energy out. I better do some push-ups, right? Because we can generate so much energy. But most of us, we don't know that. And we do this. We slump our shoulders, we drop our head, we get in some bad posture. We're like, I'm so tired. I'm like, well, yeah, look at yourself. I do the same thing, right? So we can generate, we can moving our body. Your body's like a dynamo. If you move it, it creates energy.
I want to kind of point something out. We did Tony Robbins' Unleash the Power Within, his very first virtual event, because this is an event he does live every year, but we did the first virtual one because of COVID. And it was very fascinating because if you didn't realize what he was doing, and I think this is what happens to people if they don't understand the psychology behind what he's doing, and everything he does is, it has psychological reasons for doing it. It's scientifically based. But one of the things he did throughout the whole 3-day event, it went from like
That's
8 in the
four-
morning,
4 days.
4-day event, went from like 8 in the morning till like sometimes midnight.
Yeah. All day
All
long.
day long. And what he had you do at least every hour or something, is get up and jump and move your body. Because that's the only way you could maintain energy for that long. Now, granted, sometimes I was like, oh, I'm so tired of moving my body. This is annoying. I don't feel like doing it. I just want to sit here. But what he's proving to you is that any moment you can get up and move your body and generate energy. And that's true for all of us. At any moment, you could generate energy just by getting up and moving your body. Now, the only thing that usually stops you is because you don't feel like doing it.
Oh, that was good.
But once you actually do it, it changes how you feel, especially if you've got some music.
Yes.
And you dance.
And if you've got a favorite song that just lights you up, put on that music and you dance around, you'll generate some energy. Right. And what's fun, so I take my kids, my 4 oldest kids, and we go to Krav Maga, which is like intense martial arts, and it's at night, right? So all the other students come into class. It's the end of the day. You know, these guys come from work and they're just rolling into class like this. And I roll with my kids and we're all like, we're like working out. We're doing push-ups and air squats. We're hitting on the back before the class even starts. And they're standing there like, what do you guys, and they'll say things like, what do you guys take? Like, what are you on? Like, one guy came in the other day. He's like, did you guys just get out of bed? Like, did you just wake up? Like, how do you come in here looking like that? And this is my teens on their own without anything. They're like push-ups, air squats. They're hitting the bag. They're like, let's go. And like, while everyone else is resting during class, like they're doing more push-ups. We've created this culture of energy generation.
I want to point something out though. Very often they leave the house to go to Krav like this. They're like, oh, I'm so tired. I don't want to go. Because this class is sometimes at 7, 8 at night. And they're literally like, oh, I don't want to go. But what they say, my 16-year-old, I always feel like not going, but I'm always so glad I went. Because when you get there, you change your state and you feel better.
Yeah.
It's the same principle. You have to change the state. And when we talk about state, we're talking about the biochemistry in your body. The biochemistry in your body is affecting your mood. So all the chemicals flowing through your body are affecting your mood. Now, if you're stressed and worried, it's cortisol, and the cortisol is aging you, for one thing, causing inflammation, not good things, and making you stressed and worried. So you get more stressed and worried, right? It's this vicious cycle. So you have to change the biochemistry in your body by doing something that produces new chemicals. You've got to get some dopamines and other stuff going on there so you feel better. So that's one way.
Boom.
Physical.
Okay. I got to hit this comment right here, and I'll give you the other 4 other sources because Chanel just nailed it. And I wanted to say this. She said, that was me for a long time. I would just ignore my body, push through to get more done. Right? This whole idea that's been perpetuated of like, put your head down and just push through, even through the workday. People are like, no, I'm just going to put in 5 hours straight, grind. We're just exhausting ourselves.
When the science shows now, you should be taking a break mentally and physically for at least 10 minutes every 60 to 90 minutes.
Yep.
And you can even set an alarm on your phone.
If you're
not to the point where you can pay attention to your body yet, where you're like, oh, I need a break, set an alarm on your phone every 90 minutes at least to take a break. Mentally, physically, get up, walk around, drink some water, be in the moment, anything like that. That would make
kiss
a
your
huge
spouse.
That
one's an energy generator. Holy guacamole. Okay, she says, now I can see how much I underestimated the importance of listening to my body and resting. It is unbelievably important. Amen. Yep, and it showed up in your body. So now she's healing. Yeah, that's beautiful. Thanks for sharing that. That's really special.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the first source is physical. The second source is mental, right? With your mind, you can generate insane amounts of energy. It's because every thought you have has energy. So fear has an energy. Faith has an energy, right? Positivity has an energy. Negativity has an energy. Optimism, pessimism, like all these things. Excitement, doubt, like worry, all those things have an energy. So we can create thoughts that actually generate energy. I realized this one morning. We gotta be quick on all these. I had a dream. We were living in Guatemala, and I woke up from this. I had a dream that my little boy, he was like 1 or 2 at the time, was falling off a cliff. And so I jump out of bed, like to save him, right? And my heart was, you guys ever had this experience? My heart was pounding. I was breathing. All my muscles were intense. I was sweating. I'm looking for my son, and he's in bed asleep. Everyone's asleep. And I just noticed my body. I'm like, what in the world? My thoughts created that. My thoughts raised my heart rate and my breathing rate and my intensity. I mean, it created sweat. It was just an idea. It wasn't even a real thing. Like, man, our thoughts are powerful. So by getting our thoughts in the right headspace, we can generate more energy. So mental energy.
And for me, I will often rely on books to help me with that. If my mental energy feels really low, I've got a few of my favorite books that I know I can open at any time and read a few lines. And then I'm like, yes, this is truth.
These are a few of my favorite books. When the doubts come. Oh, we could sing that whole thing right there. So yeah, books help. I do too. Books, podcasts, audiobooks, great stuff like that, some videos. So get mentally in the game. Obviously, that affects the emotions. You can generate insane amounts of energy through your emotions. And you've all done this before. What does the emotion of love do?
Keeps you up all night.
Get you up get you out of bed early. Like to protect. Okay, how about this? You moms or dads, you ever felt this like just emotional need to protect your kids or to do something like superhuman for your kids or your family, right? You can get things done. Like you can stay up all night. You can run marathons. You can carry people off the mountain. Like when you get that, when you engage that emotional, that love, that compassion, gratitude.
Yeah, gratitude's a huge one.
I'll make massive emotional shifts. If I'm feeling kind of bleh, man, I'll engage in something. I have my kind of go-to memories and experiences that I bank on that bring me real perspective. And man, it just generates energy. I'm thinking of some cool stories. Okay, we got to keep going though. We got to keep going. Emotions. The next one is spiritual energy. Tap into your spirit. We're all spiritual beings, right? This isn't religious. It's spiritual.
Yeah, I think another way of wording it is consciousness. We're all conscious beings, and we know we're conscious because, otherwise it'd be blackness right now. There'd be nothing.
Many of us are not. We neglect our spirits too much, I would say. There's some spiritualness where we can just, maybe you connect with nature, maybe you pray, maybe you meditate, maybe you just kind of, you go in and just examine your spirit. Like just, you got to engage with this inner you. Mm-hmm. And it's different for each of us, but there's a spiritual side of you and it's a connection with God and with the world and the inner, it's just beautiful. And we can tap in. There's a lot of energy in the spiritual that I think many of us neglect. And then the last one is social. Now some of you are like, are you kidding me? Talking to people is exhausting.
That's the introverts.
and the people in my life, they do not bring me energy. They suck energy all day long. As soon as they come, like, But you got to get some new friends. First of all, if all your people,
new kids.
So, yeah, you can't get new kids. So you got to teach your kids to give energy, not suck it. And it's like the little babies, especially when they're little and they demand so much. It's when they're asleep, they're like, they are so adorable when they're sleeping. And you look at them while they're sleeping, you're like, I just have so much energy. And then they wake up and you're like, I have no energy. Right? But little people, they're amazing. But you need to have people in your life that when you talk to them, they give you energy. Now, some of you are like, you're going to call your friends and you're going to complain.
And they're going to complain.
And they're going to complain.
And then you're
and
not
you're
going
gonna
to
like have this complain party and like a pity party, like energy drain, right? And sometimes you feel better after vomiting, but like there's still vomit everywhere, right? You know what I'm saying? So surround yourself with people that lift you. And if you don't have any friends like that, my first friends were authors that had been dead for many years. Back to the books. They were my friends, like for reals. Like I didn't have any mentors. I didn't know. I was living in a bad neighborhood where anything that came out of people's mouth where I was living was not positive. It did not generate energy. It like generated fear. And you're like, dang, I don't ever want to be like that or stay around you any longer. Right? It was scary. So I turned to books, and those were my people. And now I turn to audiobooks and podcasts. But build friendships. And if you don't have them, start thinking, start attracting them, start manifesting, like bring people in your life and be in here. Check that you're in the right spot, man. I know we're crazy. You're like, what with these things are crazy. But hopefully we'll at least provide a little humor for you. You can laugh at us or something, like a little bit of entertainment at least, just to lift yourself up and connect with each other. This is an incredible group of human beings. You people are amazing. I'm seeing us all on some beautiful adventure somewhere. We should all hike the Inca Trail together. Who's in? Anybody for Peru? Machu Picchu? Yeah.
We're going to have to wait till it opens.
It's got to open back up, but we can dream. We can dream. So social. Connect with people that generate energy.
If a horse will take me up, I'm down for horses. Actually, there's
no horses on that trail.
Oh yeah, you're right. There are no horses allowed. That's why the porters carry everything.
Because it's like
ancient, like Incan stone.
It's like stones that are like 1,500 years old. They don't allow horses. And I carried Rachel on day 2. I could do some portering.
It's true. There are some places on the Inca Trail. It would be scary on a horse.
It's scary walking some of the places. Okay.
Rachel, curious, my favorite 3 go-to books. So the Generate Energy. It depends, honestly, but like for sure one of them would be something like As a Man Thinketh. I mean, right now I'm reading this process. I usually have a couple books that I'm reading. It's like my morning time reading, my inspirational reading. And I read from them every morning. And then if I need an extra, mental energizing pill, then I'll read from them too. So my prosperity book that I'm reading, so it just depends sometimes on like what kind of learning mode I'm in. Like breaking the habit of being yourself. Sometimes that'll super energize me. But then again, there's parts of it that get super scientific-y, and I'll go back and read like things I've underlined, my favorite parts and things.
I have authors too that I go to. You can go to have a go-to author. So James Allen is good for me.
Yeah.
Jim Rohn, like anything by Jim Rohn, you're gonna be like,
and like Jim Rohn for me, I'm like, he's okay. Oh.
Rachel's still working.
I just revealed that.
She's still working on her. There's hope. There's hope. She's still like leveling up to that development where Jim Rohn's okay. Oh my goodness. Especially 5 Major Pieces to the Life Puzzle. One of the best books ever written. So good. Did you want to give some more books? She loves Atomic Habits.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of geek out on that kind of stuff. It energizes me in a way when I read about Atomic Habits, like how to systematize your day.
Just something that kind of just snaps you out of it. Yeah, there's so many good books. Okay.
I'm trying to think of what's on my desk right now. Gifts from the Sea.
Yeah,
I like that one by Anne Morrow Lindbergh.
If you are a woman or you're married to one, read the book Gifts from the Sea.
That's a good one.
That's so good. So good. Okay.
Sorry. You'll See It When You Believe It it's now
Wayne Dyer.
By Wayne Dyer.
Wayne Dyer's a go-to.
I love Wallace Wattles. He has The Science of Getting Rich, The Science of Being Well, The Science of Being Great. Those are all good.
Somebody's recommending Greg's podcast for a few minutes to snap me. That's right.
Nice.
Just go to the Extraordinary Family Life podcast, people. Listen to my crazy stories at the beginning. That'll snap you out of it. Oh, that'll get you going. Okay, yeah, exactly, Israel. I noticed Mickey's excited when we talk about adventures. That's what adventures light you up. I live for adventures, and I told Rachel years ago, I'm like, sorry, babe, like I have to have a serious big adventure. I have to have little adventures all the time, but I have to have a big one every few months. And sometimes I'll come to her, I'm like, babe, I need to go skydiving. I got to go jump out of an airplane. Like I got to light a fire, right? So I'll do big, cool stuff like that. It works.
Adventure should be your sixth element to generate energy.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. So Chanel, you got that? So physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, social, and adventure. Okay. Whoa, that was a really long answer to a great question. Sorry for the overload. Hopefully it was valuable. Now you have no excuse. You should all be like the Energizer Bunny, tapping into your sources. Yeah. Dark chocolate is another source.
Yeah, dark chocolate.
Just saying.
The good
healthy
stuff.
kind. That's good.
But really,
if I ever see you eating donuts, any of you, anywhere, it will not be pretty.
I guess I just want to say, like, that's the secret. It seems simple, but that really is how it's done. Like, we can accomplish a lot because we use that strategy that we just
generate energy.
We have to constantly, we're not like inhuman here. Like, we every day get up, and sometimes we're super duper tired, and we have to generate energy right out of the gates. I mean, I've told you before, like I'll get up and sometimes I just go like this because I'm like so tired, and I know my body's a dynamo, so I'm going to start moving my body. And then because thinking first thing in the morning isn't always the best thing to do, because you're just like,
go back to bed.
Yeah, go back to bed.
You need more sleep.
So I start repeating affirmations or something. Like I just start telling myself, like one of my favorites I still say all the time is, I have more than enough time and money for everything I need and want to do. And I'll just start repeating that to myself as soon as I start the day, instead of thinking about everything I have to do that day and feeling overwhelmed. And so I start the day by generating the right kind of energy. And when you do those things, then you're able to just maintain it throughout the day as long as necessary, and still stay mostly positive and mostly happy and mostly pleasant and mostly patient. It's not perfect, but those are the tools that get you back into the state you want to be in. And that's how you do more and have more fun doing it.
Love it. One more quick framework. You mentioned that you often feel empty at the end of the day. Maybe this is a different perspective than what you're referring to. I actually like that feeling. When I get to my bed and I'm like, babe, help. I'm like, can you put a diaper on the little ones? Like, we have a tall bed, and I barely make it into bed, and I'm just empty. So like I started coaching this morning at 7:30. So
after running 2 miles with a 20-pound vest.
After running 2.5 miles with a 20-pound vest on in the cold. Like, so I've been going all day long. It feels fantastic. I have plenty of energy. But when I get to bed, I'm like, I'm done. I'm out. And I like that feeling. I like having poured myself out into good things during the day. And then I wake up full.
Unless you get woken up at night.
Unless I go to bed late and I get woken up. Then I still wake up and I fill up with energy. I just generate some energy.
Then you have to generate more energy. Yep. Yeah. Because.
Okay. Love it. All right. Who else? Let's go one more. We won't be that long next time, I promise. Well, I can't make any promises. Who else? Who else wants some coaching? I know you do. You know who you are. We can't see all of you, so you might have to just turn on your mic.
Okay,
here's cool. So I find that I struggle most with transitions from one thing to the next. Mm-hmm. Ooh, that's good. Or when disruptions and distractions pop up. Mm-hmm. Those really throw me off. How do you handle distractions and disruptions that naturally occur when homeschooling a large family? That is
Yeah.
the definition of homeschooling a large family. Sometimes when my routine gets thrown off, I can't regroup. Yes, we get it. Oh my goodness, we get that.
Yeah, I get it. So
first of all, we have to say, have you seen the movie The Man Who Invented Christmas? It's the story of how
Charles Dickens
wrote The Christmas Carol. It is an unbelievable movie. Like, please watch it. It's Christmas time. You should watch it. We should watch it again. We watch it every year. It's so good. But
it's only
in
been
that,
out for like 2 years.
He's writing, right? He's writing a story, and he keeps getting interrupted.
Well, because
and then he's like, "Stop interrupting me! I'm writing my story."
Because the way it portrays him writing the story is he's getting into the characters. So he's in his office, but the characters are in his office. So it's got Scrooge in there, and it's got Marley, and they're like having conversations, and like, so he's in this story. And then like he's trying to get an important part, like, well, why did something happen? Why is Scrooge this way? And then there's this knock on the door, and it's his maid or his kids, and he's always just like, stop interrupting me, and so it's funny because I tell my kids, and I tell Greg, I'm like, that's what it's like when you like knock on my door, right, in my office. I'm like, stop, I'm in this other world and you're interrupting that. So I totally get that. It's a real thing. The challenging part about having a family is it's a part of family life. So that's one part of it. It is just a part of family life. Now, I've tried to do whatever I can to eliminate as many distractions as possible, but I don't think it's possible to eliminate all distractions and interruptions. Because otherwise, the exchange rate for doing that would be damaging relationships with my kids. Like, there could be a way I could do that, but it would probably damage relationships. Does that make sense? If I just became this, don't you dare interrupt, there will be serious consequences. Like, that might work, but that would be not producing the long-term outcome I want, which is a close, loving relationship. And I am a working mom. I consider myself a working mom. I work from home, but I don't want my kids to feel like, well, I could never talk to mom. I could never interrupt her. I could, like, she wasn't available to me. And so I make myself available to a point, but you do have to get to this point of regrouping, and it takes practice. So a lot of what we've mentioned before is helpful with it, but also just, I love awareness. Awareness is such a powerful tool. The more we can use awareness in every part of our life, I think the better we get at everything we want to do. So I've started just being aware of the distraction, right? Because otherwise it used to be they come in and interrupt me and I just react like, stop, like it's this. And I think that's kind of biologically natural in a way that you respond to this interruption. But I started becoming aware of watching, okay, they just interrupted me and it's kind of annoying. But look, they're my kids and I want to have a good relationship with them. And maybe I'll remember something about what I'm trying to improve or work on or that they need. And so I take a moment to just figure out how I can, as quickly as possible, get back to my work while still maintaining the relationship. And very often it's, if I get right to the point of whatever they need, then they get what they need and then they're gone. Kids become more needy and demanding and interrupt more when they feel like their needs are not being met.
Write that down. Oh my goodness, that was powerful.
So I've found that the more often I can make sure their needs are being met, the less they interrupt me. If they feel that they can come to me when they need to, and sometimes it's just to give me a hug or something. And if they feel I'm available to them for that, then they're less needy and they're content to go off and do their thing, work on their project or whatever else, because they know if I need mom, she's there. So that's one of the things, is making sure that their needs are being met so that they don't feel that it's kind of a threat that you don't want them interrupting you type thing.
Yeah, read this comment. It fits
Oh,
perfectly.
yeah. I like to check in with the kids before starting anything that's hard to get back into. I ask them if they need anything and explain to them that what I'll be working on, and then they are more aware that I'm focused. It doesn't stop all interruptions, but it reduces them and helps. Exactly. Yes. That type of thing. So, and the thing about that too, that you're also doing this pre-framing type thing where you're explaining to them what's happening. So that's like what we do when we go into coaching. We tell our kids, we're like, okay, guys, we're doing a class. That means, no interruptions, this, that, and the other. And so then they're prepared for that. They're mentally prepared. When we can mentally prepare our kids for things, it does help to reduce, the disruptions and stuff. Completely agree with Rachel. I try my best to look past what my kids are actually saying and think about what do they actually need right now. That has helped a lot. Exactly. Because that is very often what's happening. If they're interrupting, there's generally a need. Now, maybe they can't figure something out, or their sibling is not being fair, or, whatever. There's 100 different things it could be. But noticing what their needs are and helping their needs be met just helps to, smooth out the problems. So it's kind of this combination of awareness, paying attention to what their needs and meeting them as much as possible, and then pre-framing things of saying, okay, we did this. Now I'm going to go do this, and please don't interrupt me. Helps to reduce it. And then when it does happen, because it still will happen, you just have to be aware, pay attention, and find a solution as quick as possible. That's generally what I do. Either I get someone else to help with what needs to be done, or if it's going to take 2 minutes or less, I'll just do it myself. That's my basic strategy.
There's a subtle, what she's explaining there's a subtle difference between reacting and responding. The reaction usually doesn't work so well. The response does. So we're going to be proactive. I would also offer an invitation, because distractions come for all of us. It's just a part of life. I have found tremendous power in setting up mental anchors or triggers to get back into what I was doing or to transition to the next thing. And so I'll say things to myself, affirmations, I'll read something, I'll look at something, and I've gotten, again, it takes practice, but with repetition, I'm fast now. I'm really fast. I can get right back re-engaged. But I'm practicing, like, get back in. Okay. And if something comes and it flusters me, but I have to be calm over here, energized, like I can release all of this just real quick.
Almost like you separate it.
I just release this and I engage with this.
And you hold on to this, you'll come back to it. I'll come back to this. I'll deal with this. Hold this right here, all this emotion, all this energy with that thing here. And let's go here as a new state, a new person. And yeah, one of the things, it's funny because I thought one of the things we say was, we're like, back to work, back to work. That's one of my triggers. Or I'll just like take a deep breath and say, okay, what's next? I think that's one I do. I'll get interrupted. I'll be doing stuff. I'll finish a project. I'll load the dishwasher. And then I'm like, what's next? And sometimes I'm just literally listening to my body or, my mind and asking. And then I'll get a thought or intuition and okay, that's it. And I go and do that thing.
Or if you have like some kind of working board, like a scrum board or your battle board or your list, if you get disrupted, you can just pause, take a breather, look back at your list. Okay, let's go. And get right back on.
Yeah, I've actually got something to say about that. But first I want to mention another technique I used for a while that came from Brendan Burchard is he calls it release tension, set intention. So any interruption, any frustration, irritation, anything at all. Any transition, exactly. You go from washing the dishes to working or exercising to homeschooling, whatever, any transition, you release, you could literally just say that. You say, release tension, set intention. Now, how am I going to be? How am I going to act? What am I going to do? You just take a pause to do that. Another thing, I'm going to mention this because this could be a legitimate, all of those strategies we've given you are great, but if overall your systems are not functioning well, then they are almost kind of like Band-Aids, or you're putting out fires everywhere when, everything's falling down around you. So coming up with systems that legitimately work. I know for me, and I think this is true for a lot of women, we have all these tabs open in our brain, right? Just like computer tabs. You've got this, the laundry, the dishes, the insurance, the, birthday party, you've got all these things you're trying to not forget to do. And so it's wearing on you, which makes it easier for you to get irritated, especially during interruptions. Just because it's like you're already revved up, right? Just like with a computer, if you've got all these tabs open, like your what's the memory, whatever, bandwidth, you're using too much of it. So you have to have a system that keeps you from keeping all the tabs open. So I will always, like I do this all the time. If I think of something I have to do, if it can take me less than 2 minutes, I will do it right then. Otherwise, I write it down in a place where I know I won't forget. I'll set a reminder. I'll put it on my calendar. If I'm like, oh, on the 20th, I have to do this thing, I'll set a reminder on my calendar to do it on the 20th. I no longer have to think about it at all because I know that system will bring it to my memory or remind me at the right time. And so I've closed that tab. I'm using less bandwidth overall when I have a system in place that helps me do that. You should never just try to keep things in your brain and like there's like I'll remember to do that. That doesn't work. It leads to burnout.
I'm just going to guess there's a lot of you who got a lot of tabs open and you're trying to remember all these things you need to do. And it is exhausting.
So in my office, I actually have like 2 or 3 of these boards. Mine are white, not black. But I've got one for family stuff. I have one for World School Academy. I've got one for Extraordinary Family Life. And if I ever think of something I need to do, I don't try to just like remember it or keep an open tab. I write it down and I stick it on my board. Now I know I don't have to think about it anymore because I'll look at my board. And if it has a deadline, then I put it on the calendar. So yeah, that's just another strategy.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
So do you have an easy way for deciding what priority comes next? Because sometimes I have this list, right? I've got all those note cards and I've got it written down. I've got this list of things I need to do and I feel the time ticking, like the clock is ticking and I get frozen in the moment. Like, I just don't know what to do next. And so I sit there and I waste all this time because I don't know what to transition to next. And I know I've mentioned on here before, like I've been trying out more of a week schedule because of my husband's crazy schedule and he messes up mine all the time. So I'm trying to move to something like, let's just do the most next important thing. But I can never decide what the next most important thing is.
Mm-hmm.
That's how do you decide what the next most important thing is?
I love that.
Great question.
That's a great question. So for me, what has worked the best is because I have a lot of things I want to do. I have a lot of ambitions. Through a lot of trial and error, I figured out that if I intentionally chunk my day into different areas, you could think of it as roles or jobs, right? So there's me taking care of myself. That's one role I've got. And I usually do that in the morning. Then my family and school, I kind of blend those together, but that's after taking care of me in the morning, right? So that's, maybe from 9 to 12 or 9 to 1. Then I've got work time. And then in the evening, I've got, it's more flexible, family time or more work time if necessary, or relaxing time. If I do that, that to me helps me know what to work on. Because first I've pre-identified the things I want to do. I want to educate my family at home. I want to build a business. I want to improve myself. In order to make sure that I spend time every week on each of those things, I've just found that it's so helpful to dedicate a time during the day to do it. Now, sometimes that fluctuates, I might not sleep well because I get up at night with the child. So my morning personal time is cut down, right? Or maybe that happens with the kids, or maybe that happens with work. But if I still generally have time periods for the day, then I know, okay, it's morning time. So the next most important thing for me to do is these priorities that go into my morning or my personal time stuff. Now it's family time. So my next most important thing is, to do breakfast and devotional as a family and to discuss this topic so I'll write things down so I remember it. Like, oh, during devotional, I want to talk about this, or we need to discuss that, or we need to cover chores, or I handle all the family stuff then. And if I think of family stuff later during the day, I'll either send a text to my kids or I'll make a note on a reminder on my phone to remember that thing for the next family time. Then I do work time, and doing work time, I say, okay, what's the next most important thing for work now that I'm in work time? And if I stick to those, it's not a schedule per se, it's just those routines, I guess. When I stick to those routines, that I find that I make progress across the things I want to accomplish, but I also don't get burnt out, because I remember that time when I used to be like, I don't know what to do. Should I work on my business right now? But I really need to do stuff with the kids. And the house is a disaster. And so I wouldn't know what to do, and I wouldn't do anything, and I would just be overwhelmed. But if I can say, you know what, it's okay for me to focus on the kids right now, because I know later I'm going to focus on work, and then later I'll have time to clean the house, then I lose some of the stress and worry about what I'm not doing right now when I choose to do this. Does that make sense?
It does. What I find happens with me lately, especially, is there's some extra things going on we don't typically have going on, like a lot of home maintenance, a lot of workers coming to the house, and kids not getting up on time, husband's job, crazy hours. So I have people that are coming that are going to interrupt school time. Like they're coming at 10 o'clock. So I'm trying to push things around, juggle them, and it just once those systems have fallen, trying to get them back up is really hard. And so now I'm just frozen with overwhelm of everything's messed up. How do I regroup? I've lost my personal time in the morning because I had to do something else then, and then we missed devotional, and now what do? I haven't done anything because I was waiting on other people. Trying to get the kids to buy into my new system. I'm trying out new systems, and they're so used to the old ones. Nobody's on my team, and I keep trying to think. I'm like, okay, how can I make this fun? How can I make this exciting? And really, the teens, they're like, you can't lie to us, Mom. We know this isn't fun or exciting.
We see right past your plan.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's just tricky because I'm trying to do a lot at once, and it's pretty rough.
Yeah.
So things have not been very. We haven't been getting a lot done or feeling very effective.
Yeah.
A lot of areas. So I'm just trying to. I just really worn me out, and I'm older now. I'm trying to find the same energy and passion that I had when I was younger. I'm dealing with a few little health problems, and I'm like, man, maybe it's too much to be a high achiever. Maybe it's okay to just sit back and unschool for a little while. I don't know what the answer is, but I get all motivated and ready to go, and I start to try, and I meet all this opposition, and I'm like, how do I get what I need to get past this wall? I remember you talking about it a long time ago, and I just don't remember what you said, how to get past that wall. But I feel the wall.
So Yeah, you go ahead. Then
Mind if I say something during
sure,
this?
you can say something.
Since you didn't even include me in your list of all the things you got to do.
Oh, babe, you're always my first priority. You're always like the most important.
Anne-Marie, thanks for sharing that. And we totally get it. I think we all get that. When the big disruption comes in, you got workers coming in, you got these big things you didn't see coming. They come in and disrupt your entire schedule. And it might be for hours or days or weeks. And then what? Like, how do you regroup? Here's just one thought that I want to share that has made a huge difference for me. Inside of those priorities, like Rachel's talking about, and you have all those roles, right? You all have roles. And that's what she's kind of saying. You have a role as just you. You have a role as a spouse. You have a role as a parent. You have a role as an educator, some of you. You have a role as a business owner or worker, right? So in each of those roles, you've got your things. Here's one framework that has just worked amazingly for me, and it might help you in your situation because your husband's schedule's all over the place. Things are just totally thrown off. What I did is I made a list of the things that need to be done, and I went through this framework. If I could only do one thing, which one thing would it be? And that for me was a game changer. Because yeah, there's 10 things I'd like to do, but some days you can't. And so if I could only do one, which one of these 10 things would be the most important? And I'll do that. So like you mentioned, your personal time gets totally disrupted. So now you can't do your morning routine. You can't do the self-care, but what's one thing? What's the most important thing that you could still squeeze in? And some days you'll only just do one thing like in those areas, right? I get it. But if you know which one is most likely to move the needle, which one, if the others get neglected, it's too bad. But the one thing that becomes your non-negotiable, that you at least get that, you get a hold of that. And that I found for me still kind of picks up the momentum or keeps things going. It sustains me when things are crazy.
And I want to add to this because I think that's a very key point. Because I do this all the time. We do this all the time. You also have to, you kind of touched on it. You have to be okay with some things not being ideal for a while. Unschooling if necessary. Like it's okay that that not everything's going as you would like it to go, and say, okay, what's the most important thing? I'm going to focus on doing those, and I'm going to be okay with other stuff. Even right now, we're kind of in that phase because again, if you could see my house right now, we've got the Christmas presents being packed or wrapped. We've got everything else being unpacked from the rooms because we're renting it out through Airbnb. So we've got to depersonalize everything. Everything's going either packed for the trip, which is now by the front door, and everything else is going into storage. So the entire house is in chaos getting ready for this trip that we leave for in the day after Christmas.
10 days.
10 days from today.
Oh, man.
So, I'm okay with a lot of other things going. So my daughter, who is 13, she's the rule keeper. She knows what the rules are and she wants everybody to keep them. And she will sometimes get upset if some of the kids aren't keeping the rules. So my 10-year-old has been on YouTube watching GoPro videos. Oh. Like the mountain biking thing, super cool. And like King of Random, he loves science, right? And my daughter's like, he's too much on his, on this device, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I get it. For right now, I'm okay with that because I've got 10,000 other things I'm doing. So I'm okay with that going for right now. I'll change my mind later, and that's fine. So we kind of have to, as part of being a high achiever, yeah, we have these big goals and dreams. And sometimes we just have to be okay with letting some stuff go. It's fine.
Temporarily.
There's times and seasons. And when things are in chaos and upheaval, yeah, some things are going to go. And that's just perfectly fine. That's what I have to say about that.
Amen. And I'm
Hopefully
sure
that
amidst all of that chaos, I'm sure you're still doing an awesome job.
Yes.
And I know all of you awesome moms, you're just like, you have your days where like, I'm failing as a mother. Right. I know, because I talked to you, but you're doing an awesome job. and we want to
The kids are
honor
alive,
you.
right? I mean,
They-
all of you have.
They
they're all
survived
alive.
today. That's worth celebrating.
Yes, exactly.
But we want to genuinely, we want to honor you and praise you. You dads too. You're in on this for what you do. Like this is not easy work we've signed up for.
No.
Luckily, we had no idea what it would actually be like when we started having kids. Right?
Luckily.
But it's all worth it. So just love
And
on
it
your
passes.
kids.
We just hung out with some friends this last weekend in South Carolina, and they've only got one child at home that's 16. And you know, it passes. They grow up. It feels like this is gonna last forever, but it won't. And one day you'll be looking back and like, oh, remember those days? Those were the days. Right?
Well, think about that. With your family, right? In 5 years, your entire family dynamics will be totally changed.
In 5 years,
It'll
fast.
fly by. And you'll have kids moving out. In 5 years, we could have some kids getting married. Grandkids! Yes!
Your babies, babe.
More babies! Right? But things are going to change. So like cherish the craziness right now. I know that's the crazy thing to say.
And sometimes that's what it's about. It's just finding a way of like, okay, how can we make it somewhat fun today instead of just misery, right? Let's just do something that makes it fun.
Yeah. 2 other awesome thoughts here, and then we'll wrap up. Nathan said, one thing that to help me know what is the next most important thing, I'll sometimes ask myself what I would feel worst about if I don't get it done that day. So you flip that whole framework. Like if I got to the end of the day, which thing would I regret the most? Okay, I'll do that. It's just you pick your one thing.
And sometimes that's literally just like, you know, keeping the kids alive today.
Yep. Chanel said, maybe a list of what you want to achieve over a whole week or a whole month might help. So sometimes you take your framework and you extend it out.
Yeah.
Because today you can't get it done and tomorrow either. But if you extend it out, say, okay, if I get it done in the week or the month, that helps.
Which you could take that idea I was talking about, chunking the day, and spread that out into a week. So maybe today I'm focusing on myself, and tomorrow I'll focus on the kids, and the next day I'll focus on the house. Or, you know, if you need to spread it out like that because of the interruptions, the distractions, the chaos, that works too.
Boom. Okay, let's wrap up. Love you guys so much. Thanks for being amazing human beings. Thanks for being here. We know you have tons of things to do, and you're here with us and cheering each other on and supporting each other and being here. We're so grateful that you're a part of our tribe and our community, and genuinely are so grateful for who you are and your efforts to be intentional, awesome people. It matters so much. And your goodness is making the world a better place.
That's what I was going to say.
Wow, yeah, that's good. It's just true. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to wish you some happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Finish off this year and say good riddance 2020.
No, say thank you.
No, thank you, right, for all of it. It was weird and crazy. Thank you for those crazy lessons. And then, you know, get excited. Start getting that excitement build up for a new year and a new you and all kinds of new awesome things we're going to achieve. Lean into it. Yeah. Laura says, thanks, everyone. The last few weeks have been extremely tough, and these sessions help. It's awesome. It's awesome. Yeah. We never know what we're all facing, what we're going through. There's some tough stuff. Keep your head up. Keep smiling. Dance more.
Dance more.
I'll throw in a pitch. Make out more. That's always a good one.
Make out more.
That's right. So, and then will the coaching schedule stay the same with you traveling?
Pretty much.
Yeah, we're going to come to you from Texas and then Mexico and Ecuador. Ecuador and Guatemala. And then who knows after that, Turkey or Morocco or
We haven't planned that far
Le
yet. One step at a
France.
time.
Yeah. Woo. Okay, but we're off to adventures. We'll send postcards.
I'm gonna actually be scheduling on the Facebook events the schedule for, I don't know, the next 6 months or so. So that will be coming up soon, hopefully before the end of the year.
And if you have this urge to come visit us while we're traveling,
please indulge.
come on down. Come on down. Scratch that itch. Buy some plane tickets. Come eat some tacos and burritos. Get a little sunshine on the beach. I'm serious. I know you guys are like, that's funny. No, I'm serious. Get out.
Australians are
Yeah,
like, yeah, right.
They won't let us leave. We can't leave Australia. Oh man.
Do I also put the schedule in the course? I might just link to the Facebook because I don't know. I don't like having too many places where the schedule is because then I forget and I don't update them at the same. And then I get confused even on like when it's when it's happening. So I might just stick to the Facebook and then I'll put a schedule in there, but it'll link. I'll be like, here, check the schedule here on Facebook. So yeah.
Ooh, the last 6 months of 2021. Okay, I'll just throw this out there just for some of you who are crazy, straight crazy. Ready? I'm going to set this intention. I don't know if it's going to happen because the world is nuts right now. But in the period of 1 month, I'm going to try to make this happen and lead a group to go hike to the base camp of Mount Everest and then fly to Tanzania and hike Kilimanjaro. So if you are up
crazy
for an epic adventure in September, October,
you can do one.
You can do one,
or both,
or you could do both,
and then,
or you could just do the safari with us.
Yeah, we really want to go to Europe, but
it's closed.
It's closed. When we know we can get in, we know we can do Kilimanjaro and Nepal base up camp because Nepal's closed to Americans, except unless you are trekking in the Himalayas, then you can go. So we know we can do those two things. So at this moment, we're only making for sure plans of places that are open. Turkey is also on that list. So, but yes, Europe, once it opens.
You know, you guys want to come over and have a little Turkish delight with us. Yeah.
Okay,
we'll wrap up. Love you guys. You're the best. Have a wonderful evening or a fantastic day. Yeah. Thursday in Australia. Love you guys. Thanks for being amazing. Go love on your family. Love you guys. Reach upward.